Hey guys, welcome back to the Hunter Base Podcast. What do Maverick Hunters do when they're not hunting Mavericks? They go back to the base, recharge, and shoot the shit. So, a little just information about today's episode. This was actually recorded back last April, in April 2017. I was trying to do a podcast all throughout 2017, and I kind of had one going. At the time, it was called the Z-Way Podcast, and it just wasn't working. I was trying to get a new guest every week, and I realized that what I really needed was a co-host, and that's what started the Hunter Base Podcast with CJ and I. The reason you're seeing this is because we don't have one ready. CJ had school stuff to do, and by the time we realized it was time for us to do another podcast to meet the usual bi-weekly Monday deadline, we realized we didn't have anything here. So I'm literally recording this the day I'm editing the podcast on the Sunday, and it should be out on Monday, hopefully it gets done by then. So this one here I'm doing with my friend Jordan, otherwise known as Enter Shikari. This one's a little different. We're going to be talking about music and metal specifically, so I hope you guys enjoy, and please be sure to send us your feedback either through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, using the hashtag HunterBasePodcast. Or if you want to leave questions or suggestions for CJ and I or any future guests, you can leave them in the comments or tweet or Facebook us with that same hashtag, HunterBasePodcast. Anyways, guys, enough of my rambling. Enjoy the episode. I am your dulcet host, Zeromaster, and here with me today is, you might know him as the guy who's made popular videos such as The Prince and the Pussy or random things, such as my favorite, Madoka Man, or Madoka one-shots or whatever. He goes by a few names. Enter Excalibur, Glow with Excalibur, just Excalibur. Jordan, here he is. How you doing?
Hi, how are you? Don't mind the dogs in the background. They're probably just barking at something.
Yeah, don't mind my like jazzy voice. It's 10:30 in the morning here, and I've only been up for 30 minutes. And also you've been speaking all night, so this is going to be the greatest podcast. I
was recently at a pub and I had a drink or two, and yeah, no, I'm back. Yeah.
So those of you who don't know, Jordan is in Australia and I'm in Canada, so there's like a 14-hour time difference. So it's Saturday night for him. It's Saturday morning for me. So
yeah,
if I got that right, it's Saturday night right now for you.
Actually, it is Sunday morning.
Sunday morning now, yeah.
It's 12:37 a.m. Yeah.
How's the future?
The future is very grim.
Very.
We're getting grim. Closer and closer to the end, my friend.
That's a good way to put it.
I guess.
So, Jordan, for those of my viewers who don't know who you are, why don't you explain a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Where do I start? So I do a lot of weird little parodies on the internet. I guess you could consider me an abridger. I kind of just take anime, shorten it in length, and make it funny. Try to make it funny. And I guess that's kind of like what I do primarily. But I also have a side Let's Play channel. I know, yes, Let's Plays, haha. Yeah. With a friend Josh of mine. And also, I guess I just like work in a warehouse for a job. That's sort of me. I'm not really any more than that, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I've just so everybody knows, I've known Jordan for quite a few years. It's actually it's interesting because, like, if you think about it, I think I met you in 2011, 2012.
I believe it was 2012. I watched your shit since I was 15, I think. So it's been like 8 years.
Wow. So
since I've known of your work.
So just so people who don't know, I used to do like a bridge series like way back in 2008. That's really when I got my start on YouTube. Like I started making videos in 2006, 2007, but it was always sporadic stuff. It wasn't until I made like schedules of videos until 2008 with the parody stuff. And I mean, around 2011, 2012, that was kind of when my like, I feel like I had already peaked and I was already like, I'd already done anything that would have gotten me, anywhere in terms of popularity. So at that point I was getting ready to be done, but I mean I was still making stuff because I was still having fun making it. And that's when I met you, and that's when like it like exploded again. Like it was nuts.
Yeah,
Like
it
I was
was
like I was finding people like you and like Spencer and other people who had like 10,000, 20,000 subscribers, and here I was with like 2,000, and you guys all knew who I was. So I thought that was kind of crazy.
Like dude, it's funny because like back in the day, I think it was around 2012 was when it kind of just like blew up. It was kind of the year of making parodies because almost anyone in their dog made a parody. Like it was
I call that third wave abridging, because second wave was back when Laney Pator, when I started, Laney Pator made his video on how to make an abridged series, and so many people just learned basic things. Like I had tried to make them beforehand just by doing the whole turn the microphone on and just say what comes to your mind, but like that. I didn't realize that people like they wrote a script, they edited it, and then it just like it clicked for me.
And honestly, that's the only time I ever put a recording software on and just talk into the microphone and do silly voices is Tunebio. That's the only series I do that with.
So basically, just to make a long story short, Jordan and I have known each other for a few years now, probably like. I'm gonna say 5 years now. It's probably been.
Dude, we even slept in the same bed together.
Yeah, we did. That's a funny story. So when was that your first time coming to America, or?
Yes, it was the first time I ever set foot in American soil.
So he was going to YomaCon. He just chose to go to Detroit of all places.
Yeah,
trust
me. I tell everyone that, and they go, "Why the fuck did you go to Detroit?" I'm like, "AnimeCon, man."
Yeah, and that was actually the last year I think I went to YomaCon that I remember. That was like 2014, was it? Or...
Same. 2012 actually.
Was it 2012? Okay, so
yeah, it's quite a while back.
Like you and I had pretty much hit it off. Like I don't know. Did I? I can't remember if I met you through Mike or I met you first and then met Mike. I can't remember how that went.
I have no idea. I believe
I'm gonna say it was probably Mike, because Mike introduced me to a ton of people.
Yeah, I believe it was, and I was like shitting my pants because I'm like, oh man, Zero. I've known him for so long, like known about him for so long. Oh, I just
that, like honestly, when not to sound like to toot my own horn or anything, but when I like met all these people who knew who I was, and I felt like, I was a nobody at that point. Like I had already like had any popularity I was gonna have, and I didn't think anybody remembered my stuff. To me, that was a good feeling, because I'm like, these people actually liked what I made. I'm like, okay, there is a reason. Like,
yeah, no, dude, you find your reason. It could be, heck, I found my reason within 2011 and 12, because like I just loved doing what I was doing, and then it slowed down.
That's really the thing. It's the fun of it, but at the same time, like there's another podcast I listen to, Pat Contry's Not So Common podcast, where he was talking to Rental Floss, and they talked about making, as a YouTubers, you make videos for you and you make videos for your audience. So, and I believe that's true.
Yeah,
like you make one for them, you make one for you, and then you just kind of like how it goes.
Dude, exactly right. Like, honestly, I could right now stop The Prince and the Pussy. Like, right the fuck now, I can end it. But I'm doing it for the people that want to see the series continue and to get the most out of it. While Tunebio was something I had fun with on the side that I really liked doing for myself.
That's the other one that you did that I thought was really good.
And then I finished that. Like, it's done now. I don't think I can do any more of that, because I stopped having fun with it. And then I was like, all right, that's it. Like that's just kind of like the way I see it. I still enjoy doing The Prince and the Pussy. Just like it's just more of a motivational thing to see my fans, or I hate saying fans, see followers be like, oh man, I can't wait for the next episode, and yada yada yada.
I think where you and I are similar in that way, that we don't like to just stick to one thing. Like even when I was bridging, like I was changing projects all the time. I think the most popular thing I ever made was K on a Bridge, and I love that so much. I feel so bad to the people who liked it that we never finished it. It's going to be kind of hard now because everybody's in different places, and I mean, one of our members isn't a guy anymore, so that makes it a little more difficult to do what we want to do. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just
for so guys and one girl.
Just for guys and this one girl we know.
It's a good show.
It's a good show. Honestly, I've been thinking about, because the anniversary for that's coming up, I think, and I've been thinking about maybe just writing a script and then sending it to the other guys and be like, okay, writing a script with all 6 of us in a call at the same time as it works. So I wrote one. Tell me if you guys like it, and if you don't, Give me your suggestions and we'll change it. Because all we really had left to do was the finale. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
And maybe the movie, but... And
then,
dude,
like I've said that I was going to do the K-Oi movie, which was basically like a thing. I think it's just a running gag at this point where I'm never going to do it.
That was the first... I think K-Oi was the first thing of yours I saw, because a bunch of people told me about it because they knew I made K Unabridged.
It was basically to kind of be like, oh, I absolutely love K Unabridged, so I'm going to do my own, and just they're all British, and that's basically it. There was like no reason for them to be British. I just made them all British.
That Enter Shikari thing, voice
and it was all around. It was based around Shikari and like how they're all just stupid and British.
Well, that is a perfect segue to our discussion topic, which we're going to talk today about metal and music in general. And when we talk about metal, you've got to be a little more descriptive, because I'm sure the metal listeners to this podcast are going to be like, "What do you mean by metal?" We're talking all subgenres here. We're not making any distinctions from your Metallicas to your Blood on the Dance Floors. Even though I don't really like Blood on the Dance Floor, but you know what I mean.
Unfortunately, I don't really enjoy them either. But anyway,
but to give an idea of what's going on. So, basically, I think metal is the music genre with the million subgenres it had, is the one that I listen to the most, the one I identify with the most, because there's so much stuff there's so much variety, and there's so much like emotion in metal music. There are some music genres that have no emotion behind them, like pop music. Like, it's pop music's point is to get you to dance.
I 100% agree. Anything on the radio these days that plays on like the hot FM radio, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the same recycled garbage, and I completely agree with you. There's a lot more heart and soul put into not just metal, not just hardcore, but like other genres and other bands and artists.
It's funny you mentioned the radio, because I've been doing, in my downtime at work, I've been doing research, just because on stuff I want to research, because I'm a nerd like that, and I've been looking into a lot more Enter Shikari stuff, because I realize I don't know a ton about them, and I'm getting more into them, and like it's just things that I thought of, like their first like record. They weren't even signed, and they were getting radio play. Like, isn't that nuts to think of?
Yeah. Shikari have really, like... It's funny, because their first album, Take to the Skies, you could not find them in store anywhere in Australia. It was by luck where I picked up a physical copy of that album at a JB Hi-Fi, because there was one. I asked the people, "Hey, do you have this album?" They're like, "Oh no," and then I looked at the back. They had one copy left.
Wow.
But they did get airtime, not in Australia. I don't think I've ever heard Shikari on the radio whatsoever in Australia, but everywhere else, all the time.
Yeah, they first got to like UK radio. They got a lot of play on that, and that's what got them like a lot of followers in the early days. Because a radio station just liked them, and they just started playing their music on there. And I'm talking like before the album came out, like I'm talking like their EP recordings, which probably would have been a huge gamble for a radio station, because these aren't mastered recordings, and they're going to sound not as good as something that was recorded in a professional studio. But it worked out for them.
Like, they've because I didn't actually start listening to them until about probably very late 2009, early 2010. So that was 2 years after their first release, and the year of their second release, Common Dreads. Yeah. And actually, funnily enough, I think it was the day that Tribalism, the EP, came out, is when I found their music, which was funny. Yeah. A friend of mine, Ewan, he introduced me to them, and the first thing I said was, "Wow, I don't know about these guys. These guys are extremely British." And he just lost it and thought it was the funniest thing. He's like, "Nah, man, listen to Take to the Skies." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." And then I kind of just like downloaded one or two of the songs, and I fell in love with "Sorry You're Not a Winner." That was the best thing ever.
Just a thing I want to mention about that song. So there's a friend of mine at work who's originally from the UK. He moved to Canada, and we were just talking about stuff. And I was just talking to you about this, but I want to expand on the story a little bit.
Sure.
We were just talking about it, and I was like, man. I've got some Enter Shikari in my head. He's like, oh, I love Enter Shikari. I'm like, of course you do. You're British. All British people are supposed to like them. Anyways, and we were just discussing, because I had this band I'm working on, and I've been listening to a lot of the older songs to figure out, we're trying to figure out covers right now, and I'm trying to figure out what the best covers are. And him and I were talking, and I'm like, he's like, well, what are you thinking of for a cover? I'm like, you know what? Now that you've asked me on the spot, I'm really thinking about Sorry You're Not a Winner. I think that's going to be the best for us. So when we play that live, I'll make sure it's filmed or recorded or something, so I can show you how bad I am compared to Ro and the gang.
To Rao Reynolds, yeah. No, man, dude, like, honestly, that song, whatever mood I'm in, it'll pick me up. It's a good track.
The music video is great too, and it's one of those like they recorded it on like a handy cam.
Yeah,
and the drummer has a fucking Cheerio shirt.
Yes, and I really want that Cheerio shirt, and you can buy it. You can buy that exact shirt. You type in Cheerio shirt, and it comes up with it. It's awesome. I really want it, and I really want it like a very, very small, because he wears it like really small as well.
If you ever get the chance to come out to a Canadian or American con again, can me, you, and just like Mike and a bunch of other people just wear Cheerio shirts?
Yeah,
we'll
that'd be so cool. Cheerios crew.
or maybe
absolutely.
If I can make my way out to Australia.
Oh, please.
Well, my it's funny. My grandfather went to Australia and he invited some of my uncles, but I'm just like, I would have loved to gone.
Yeah, that would have been awesome, dude.
That's when I wasn't working too, so I was like, I had money left over and I had free time, and I'm like, I could have gone, and I was talking to you at the time, so I would have visited you, and Grandpa, what the fuck?
God damn it, Grandpa.
Pretty much now. But I want to make it out there. Like, Australia is one of the things on my bucket list to visit. That and Japan are the two big ones that I want to visit.
Japan for sure, man. I would adore to go to Japan one day. I'd love to. It's just saving money.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially where you're at, like, flying anywhere has to be like expensive.
Oh god, it's atrocious here, man. Like the amount of money I spent on going to America and then going again to see Sydney, that was just whew.
Yeah. And that was a while ago.
Yeah. And it was quite a lot of money, but it was worth it. Absolutely worth it, 100%. Yeah. Just, yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah. So now Enter Shikari, I believe they're your favorite band, right?
Yes. They've taken System of a Down's place a few years back. I was like, you know what? I love System, but they're not making anything new, so I guess I'll just push them back a bit.
And you know, I wasn't too sure about some of their later stuff. Like, you would show me stuff and I'd be like, that's okay. But their last album they released was like solid. Like,
Minesweep is fucking great.
Yeah. I wanted to listen to it for so long because I wasn't able to find a copy of it. I wanted a physical copy, and I was like, oh, okay, for now I'll just download the music off of the music video on YouTube. But for some reason, the music video for Last Garrison, for example, is like undownloadable. It doesn't. You can't download it. Like, I don't know if they did some like compression thing to make it so undownloadable, but you can't.
It's possible. I've tried ripping some audio from YouTube, and it's just like, nah, man, you can't do this. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And I tried like 4 or 5 different sites. I'm like, come on, this has to be. I have to be able to get this. I'm just like, I just want to put it on my device until I get the album.
I'll be the one. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll be the one to say that, like, I'll download a song and I'll listen to it. But with Shikari, every single release they've made, I've bought a physical copy of it. Like, I made sure I have, because I love to be able to support them. Like, in any way.
Most cases, if I'm going to do that, like download something off YouTube or something, my full intention is to buy the full record. But sometimes a band will release like a video like months before their album comes out, and that was the case with Enter Shikari. I wanted the track just to listen to, but I couldn't because it wouldn't let me. And eventually, I did get a copy of it. I got Apple Music, so I got it on Apple Music now. But Enter Shikari, if you're listening, your first album isn't on Apple Music, so what the fuck? Like, my favorite album of yours is not on Apple Music. Get your shit together.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, because I use a little bit of Apple Music here and there, it comes in handy sometimes whenever I'm like looking for something. I'm like, wow, I haven't got that for some reason, and I'd like it, and then I look it up. But No Take to the Sky is not there for some reason.
Yeah,
no idea.
I don't know why. Like, but whatever.
It's a good master of it, so I don't know if they're like feeling bad about the mastering, but like it's good. It's solid. Audio's really fresh.
What's weird is they have the "Sorry You're Not a Winner" EP on there, but they don't have
really.
They don't have "Take to the Skies." I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh,
is the point of that?
That's okay.
You'll put the EP with the lower quality on there, but you won't put the fucking like studio version on there. That makes no sense.
That's very weird. Maybe they will do something for it, considering it's the 10th anniversary this year. But
I remember that. I remember I had a similar problem with Bring Me the Horizon. Suicide Season was not on Apple Music. It was there to purchase. But I've realized why I couldn't, because only the collector's edition with the bonus songs is available on Apple Music. So I'm okay with that. But like, at first I was like, why can't I fucking play this on Apple Music? Why does it only let me purchase it? Then I'm like, oh, the collector's edition is the one they want you to download. I see. Tracks, so
yeah, that's a solid album too. I really like that album.
Yeah. Speaking of that, that's another UK band.
All UK bands are real good.
I actually saw them live a couple months ago with Under Oath in Toronto. Under Oath and Beartooth, but me and my brother got there late, so we didn't get a chance to watch Beartooth.
I just listened to them on the drive here.
It's funny because like everyone we talked about the show with, who was still going, they were all like, "Oh, Beartooth's playing!" Like, and they were the opener. So
really. That's
I thought
hilarious.
It was funny. Like, my brother and I missed Beartooth, unfortunately, but we got there just in time for Under Oath set.
Very solid band. Do you know the whole story about that whole band?
Yeah, it's the dude who used to play keys, then became vocalist for Attack, and he's now Beartooth.
Yeah,
and
I didn't know that at first. Just non-existent anymore, so they just Attack moved to Beartooth. Yeah,
2014 or something like that. Yeah. But like my brother and I, like we were like. When I realized that, I didn't realize that at first. I'm like, well, this is fucking Caleb. I think it was Caleb from Attack. And Brock was like, what?
What?
And then we listened to some more Smokahontas because we love that track.
Smokahontas, bro.
But yeah, like that. My brother actually bought. He's in a vinyl craze right now. He has like 4 or 5 milk cartons full of vinyls right now.
Oh Jesus! I have. I'll tell you one. The one vinyl I have on vinyl is Plastic Beach by the Gorillaz. That's the awesome. Only vinyl, but it's awesome. It looks sick, and that's the whole reason I got it. I'm like, this is very cool. And
yeah, when we went to the show, he bought Beartooth on vinyl, and he bought Bring Me the Horizon's newest album on vinyl, which both came with digital or CD versions included, which was nice of them.
Ooh, that's wicked. Okay.
But Under Oath was not selling any music, so I bought a toque. Which I was like, okay, maybe I'll finally be able to get, like, maybe they repressed like the special edition of They're Only Chasing Safety, because I don't actually own that, but I had the tracks because a friend let me like borrow the CD for a while, and
that was the same with Common Dreads for me. I didn't actually have Common Dreads for a while. I just borrowed the CD, but then I bought it because I'm like, well, I want my own copy, so
but yeah, so Enter Shikari is your favorite band. Let's do just a quick segue over to my favorite band. Yes, because I have some news. Gavin Dance.
Yes.
Which you also,
which is funnily enough my second favorite band.
Yeah, so you also like that. Man, wouldn't it be perfect if like, say like they were planning a show in Australia, and I was like, I'm coming to fly to Australia to hang with you, and we're gonna go to the show.
Oh man, fuck, that'd be cool.
We're doing that. We're doing that if they announce an Australia thing.
Yes,
and I have enough money.
Yeah.
Because they've only come to Canada once. Which
really?
And I missed the show because nobody wanted to go with me.
Oh,
I also missed out on the Enter Shikari show they had last year because again nobody wanted to go with me, and I wasn't going to go by myself because it was a late show, and Toronto late at night is not.
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story. I think I already told you about it anyway, but for everyone listening, so originally I got tickets to see Enter Shikari in 2015 in Sydney. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, wow, awesome, sweet. I'm going to see my favorite band. And so I was fucking excited. And then Gavin Dance announced that they were having a tour as well in Australia. And they had a Brisbane show the day before Enter Shikari. And I said, is this fucking heaven? So I got that as well. And then I went to Sydney. Sorry, not Brisbane, Sydney. because I went to stay with Alifluro and just Kyle, so we just kind of like hung out for a little bit. I mean, they were working and had shit on, but like we still hung out. And I saw both my favorite bands like one night after another, and I was just like alone as well. Like I went by myself because I said I'm not missing this opportunity whatsoever. It's just too good to be true, and it was fucking amazing. Sorry.
I kind of like
interrupt.
guilted my brother. I'm like, if Gavin Dance and Enter Shikari plan another Canadian show, please go with me. He's like, yeah, I'll go with you. Because but my brother and I have agreement. If there's a band that I don't really like as much as him, like say for example, Cancer Bats is a band he really likes that I'm I don't really care about.
With, I guess.
But he's like, but if they come back to like Toronto or something, I said, okay, well, I'll go with you to that if you have no one to go with, which is basically our agreement. And he's like, my brother doesn't dislike Gavin Dance or Enter Shikari. He just isn't into them, kind of like the way I'm not into Cancer Bats. So,
like that's true. I think I had like one Cancer Bat song once just to see what they were like, and they're all right. I mean, I don't go out of my way to listen to them. My favorite
Cancer Bat song is Rats, and that's only because I heard it a lot, and it's the only one I
actually believe that was the one that I had. So yeah, that'd be it.
Oh, Cancer Bats. But getting back to Dance Gavin Dance. So they're my favorite band. Kind of a hard band to follow if you just hop in because of the difference in musical styles and vocalists.
They've gone through a lot of vocalists, a lot of musical styles.
If you've hopped in the last couple albums, then you're fine because it's basically like Tillian, the current vocalist, has been with the band the longest now. I think. But if you hopped into the earlier era, like I like to, I label the eras by vocalists, so like the Johnny era and the now I can't remember his name.
I can Google it.
The guy they had before Tillian.
I can't. I want to say Kevin, but it's probably not Kevin.
It's not Kevin.
I know it's not Kevin. Kyle? Is it Kyle?
It's not Kyle, though. I have a friend named Kyle who looks exactly like the vocalist they had on that.
Kurt. I'm sure it's Kurt Travis.
Right, it's Kurt. Yeah, it's Kurt Travis. So there's the Kurt era, which was 2 albums, and now we're on the Tillian. I'm doing air quotes, but nobody can see me. The Tillian era of Dance Gavin Dance, and they all have different musical styles and vocal styles. And the basic thing that I want to talk about is the by the time this episode comes out, it probably will already have happened, and some of these rumors might be defunct. But the 10th anniversary of Downtown Battle Mountain is this year. And there was the artist who draws the Dance Gavin Dance album artwork leaked something he was working on for them. And the speculation is that the next album is going to be Downtown Battle Mountain 3.
Ooh, actually, that would be
awesome.
Excellent. That would cover a lot of the things that could get continuations, because they've already gotten a few that have. Yeah,
they did Death of a Strawberry, and they did like on the earlier album they did Strawberry Swisher Part 3.
Yeah,
they did stuff like they finally finished. Well, I thought they finished the robot with human hair with Death Robot and Human Hair, but they made like a prequel song.
The Young Robot.
Young Robot. So it seems like it's funny because they did an interview and said they don't want to. They said with not Mothership, but Instant Gratification that not Instant was it Instant Gratification?
That was the previous album to Mothership.
Was that the previous one?
Yep.
Because Acceptance Speech was before that. Right?
Yeah, Acceptance Speech was the one before that. Yeah.
So when they were interviewed about after Instant Gratification came out, Will Swan actually said, we wanted to try and not have any sequel songs, and then he was like, ellipses, okay, Death of a Strawberry, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think they kind of like, with Mothership, they wanted to go the same idea, but I guess they just liked the robot concept, and they just wanted to do like another track for that. But the other thing too is there's a tweet from Tillian from a few days ago that basically says #DGD9.
Oh, well then they're doing something.
They've announced that their 9th album. But I mean, even if it's not Downtown Battle Mountain 3, how cool would that be if they like went back and made like more tracks that were in that style and like because Downtown Battle Mountains 2 not a lot of people like. It's a little controversial because some people are into it, some people aren't. Because just to explain what happened to people who are.
I will be the first to say. I'll be the first to say that I didn't really enjoy it as much as the others, but I gave it another listen on the plane back from Brisbane, and I was like, I dig this. I really like a lot of these songs.
And
I don't know
that's
why.
The thing about Dance
Gavin
Gavin Dance. Like every time I hear something, I'm like, not too sure about this. I always come back to it, and I always fall in love with their music. Like
like
they're a band where
when I heard Chucky, their first single for the latest album, I was like, look, this is good, but I know it can be better. And then I listened to it again, I'm like, nah, this is fine. This is great. Yeah, I like this.
It's a band where like on first listen, you're just not sure.
Yeah.
But once you get into it, and they're very good at making their albums like, okay, I'm starting to get into this. Okay, yeah, and that's what makes it so hard for me to pick my favorite album of theirs. Because
dude, I cannot. I'm always swapping between Death Star and God, what was the other one? Happiness. Those are the two that I'm always mixed with. Yeah. But then I'm like, wait a minute, Acceptance Speech is real good too.
Yeah,
and then it's really hard. It's very, very hard.
And it's funny because like recently I've been like, I listened to the shit out of Acceptance Beats when it came out. I listened to it all the time, and I'm like, man, maybe I'm bored of it. But then I listened to it again recently. I'm like, you know what? No, I still like this. So
dude,
it's like
I fucking love Demo Team. That's like my favorite song on the album, and it's like it takes the piss out of all of the Rise artists as well.
I think mine is Robot with Human Hair Part 4.
Oh, that's great too.
Or I think the other one that I really like is from that album.
Honestly, I think that sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I think that album has the most solid intro to an album. I think Jesus H. Macy is one of the best songs they've ever opened with on an album.
That's a great intro.
I think it's awesome.
Lately, I've actually, and not just because I didn't, this is before I realized that the anniversary is coming up, I've been listening to Downtown Battle Mountain 1 a lot again.
And it's good. It really, like, I started listening to DGD, 2011, 2012? And I was never there around that. I was never there for them when they made that album onwards.
Yeah.
I got into it just as they swapped over to Tillian, but didn't have any material for Tillian.
Yeah.
So
I was for me, like what got me into it was them was Tree Village. Somebody had sent me Tree Village, and I was like, I really love this song. And this was at the time when I was still when I was hardcore into making AMVs. I'm like, I have to make an AMV with this song. So I did. And then ever since then, I've been like addicted to their stuff. And then, because at that time, the only video that was out was Tree Village and me and Zoloff Get Along Just Fine, which was on the previous album.
Ask me, I'm fine, or I will be. I love that.
Got the cure for loneliness. I love that fucking.
It's good shit.
Song.
Good shit.
But Downtown Battle Mountain, it was an album where I'm like, I like this song and this song and this song. But then I started listening to it like just because I'm driving in the car and I've got my Apple Music on my phone. I'm like, you know what? This entire album is solid, and that's something I can say about all of their albums. Like, they're all solid albums. Maybe not
so good.
Maybe not like define the great line. You have to listen back to front. Sort of thing to get the full thing, but like maybe each album has like one or two songs that I'm just not super fond of, but like I can listen to most of all their albums back to front.
Basically every album that's ever been made has those filler songs almost. It's like one or two filler songs that you're like, this could have been cut, but I'm glad it's still here anyway.
And and I'm always discovering new things. Like Happiness is probably, if I had to pick a favorite album, it'd probably be Happiness, because that was the one that got me into them.
Happiness has, I feel like, the most emotion in every one of their albums. I feel like that one hits really hard in comparison to the rest of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is, but like the song Happiness in itself is just a ride.
But like,
it's an absolute ride.
I'm just discovering new things all the time. Like on my ride back last year from one of the cons I was at, I was stuck in bumper to bumper traffic on the 401, which is the highway that connects Toronto and my hometown and all that stuff. And I just remember like it was I had to focus on driving the entire time. I couldn't look down and change songs or anything. And Rock Solid started playing, and I was like, I've never really sat down and listened to this song, and you know what? It's pretty freaking good.
It's got a really funny, like, midsection, but that's what
Yeah.
makes the song have character.
And recently, like, I've gotten into two songs that I've really gotten into from the Downtown Battle Mountains is Thug City was one I never thought I'd get into, but I really like
dude,
Thug
I
City.
love Thug City. I don't know what it
just
is.
that
I just
intro,
really love that. Yeah.
Which they didn't put on the live album.
Yeah, that was a bit of a letdown. Oh,
but I mean, I understand why they didn't.
Yeah,
I still say it every time the song comes on, though.
Yeah.
But and one off of the first Downtown Battle Mountain that I keep coming back to. I keep listening like at least once a day. Is It's Safe to Say You Dig the Backseat.
That one's actually pretty good. Yeah,
I don't like the lyrics. But with a lot of Gavin Dance songs, which are about like talking about
the most random nonsensical shit you can possibly imagine,
or like about
and then
fucking
sex.
Bitches.
That's
basically all their albums. But I mean, like, I had this conversation because a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Casey, I wanted to get her into the band. But I was like, I understand why you're not, because half their songs are talking about fucking bitches.
Yeah. Oh, it's honestly like I would never be able to get someone into the band. I mean, like a friend of mine, Aaron, I showed him, God, I have no idea what song it was. He's like, I really dig this. And then he listened to a lot of other songs by himself. And then he now like listens to them on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. But like, that was because he doesn't really have a genre of music he listens to, but that's his quote unquote angry, quote unquote adolescence music that he'll listen to.
It's funny because when it comes to Gavin Dance as being like a metal band, they're on one of the far end subgenres of being something a little more light than your like Anthraxes or your Metallicas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're kind of like a post hardcore metalcore thing.
I feel like they're just kind of like an avant-garde kind of post-hardcore kind of looking.
They're like I like to say they're like the most pop-friendly metal band you'll ever hear.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's at first when I realized that, I'm like, oh my god, I like something that's really poppy, and I'm just like, you know what? I used to listen to pop punk. I like poppy stuff, even if I don't admit it. Like,
what was it? Tillian kind of has brought the pop to the band. Like, it's very poppy. Tillian's the very poppy stage. Kurt was more like
that voice. Voice that Tillian has.
It's gotten better. Every album, it gets better. Every single album. I feel like Tillian just improves.
Good. Like,
one notch better.
He's you can't get highs like that. And if they ever get another vocalist, they're screwed. They can't play anything that they recorded with him. So
exactly. That's why I think they're stuck. They're like, oh, well, we're stuck with Tillian now.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, like, and not only that, like, he sings the other band songs well too. Like the other vocalist songs well too. Nothing against Kurt or Johnny; they're both amazing vocalists. Like Johnny specifically,
all three of them are excellent. Yeah,
is like crazy
in their own way.
Kurt, Kurt has this range that like it doesn't sound like there's a lot of range, but there definitely is. So they both have different flavors. But Tillian just he brings something to it that like the band never had and is continuing to be good. Like at first I was like, this guy's a little pitchy, but I'm like, you know what? This kind of maybe what the band needed. Like,
what was it? I believe. Oh yeah, I agree 100%. And I believe every single time I've played Dance Gavin Dance to someone that didn't know it was Dance Gavin Dance, they always say it's what's that band with the really high pitched vocalists? Like, not Alisana. Is it a Skylit Drive? No, not them either. God, I have no idea. There's like a band with like a really high pitched singer. Like it almost sounds like a female. And I'm like, no, it's definitely not him. I can tell you that it's definitely not them. It's Dance Gavin Dance.
I remember I remember like one of my friends I showed some of the stuff to, they're like, this sounds like Tides of Man. I'm like, well, take the vocalist from Tides of Man.
Tides of Man and then
put him in Dance Gavin Dance. And he's like, okay, it is him.
Okay. Speaking of other bands that the vocalists have been, have you checked out a bit of A Lot Like Birds?
I have checked out a bit of A Lot Like Birds. My opinion on A Lot Like Birds is I think it's okay. I think
they're a lot more. They're like poetry prog, more than anything else.
I feel like I'm there for Kurt when I listen to them,
but not there for the rest. I guess.
And it makes me feel bad because I want to enjoy the music as a whole because I didn't have that problem with Emma Rosa. Which is for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about. Dance Gavin Dance's vocalists have been in other bands.
Yeah.
And Emma Rose is one that Johnny Craig made, and one that I want to say Kurt Russell, but it's Kurt Travis made, was a lot like Birds. And a lot like Birds is the one I'm having the hardest time getting into. I like a track or two, but it's a little difficult. But I'm happy that he's making the music he wants to make with that
and
band,
and funnily enough, he's now moved on from that band, and the vocalist is different. So I guess he's doing other things that I don't know what he's doing now, honestly. But like, good for him. Whatever he's doing, solid, awesome. But yeah, like I that album, I think it was the 2013 album that he was on. Kurt, it was good. There was maybe 3 songs I was like, yeah, this is great, and the rest was like, okay, so it's like kind of like a little bit too drowny. I don't know how to explain it. Like, the songs went on a little bit too long without enough progression, even though they're supposed to be like a prog rock, post-hardcore kind of thing.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, what do you think of Slaves?
I haven't heard much of Slaves. I'll be first to admit I haven't heard much of Slaves.
Same, and it's again, it's another band that's hard for me to get into, which is odd because Emma Rosa I got into no problem. And
yeah, I don't mind Emma Rosa, actually. They're pretty decent.
Slaves is Johnny Craig's current project, so if anybody knows. You know, they have some new stuff coming out, and I've heard one of the new Slave songs, and I'm like, you know what, this isn't too bad, but
yeah,
it's one of those things I'm going to have to sit down and give some time. I do like that it is something Johnny Craig's doing clean, because that guy has had a rough drug life. Like, if anybody wants an example of how drugs can destroy someone, like, Johnny Craig's like the perfect example, and he bounced back. And now he's doing as good as he's ever been. And that's when I was like, when the 10th anniversary tour for Gavin Dance happened, I was like, it's what I wanted them to do, to bring back the other vocalists and let them sing songs with them.
Yeah.
And like, I think the coolest part of that whole tour they did is they did Uneasy Heart Sway the Most with all 3 of the vocalists. And you know what? I wasn't sure, because this was a song that was written in the Kurt era, so I didn't know how Johnny would handle, but the part they gave him was like perfect for him, and like they figured that shit out. So I bet you they sat down in a room, they're like, okay, we need a song all 3 of us can sing, and they were just like, and Kurt's like, let's do this song. And Johnny's like, oh, I haven't listened to that one. Let me see if it works. And then they were all just like, yeah, this is the one. This is the one where we
this is the one we'll do it.
We swoon the crowd.
It's their magnum opus in effect to anyone else that doesn't listen to them a lot. They're like, they go to that song, so they're like, oh man, or you talk to anybody, like any of my friends, if I say, hey, Dance Gavin Dance, they go, oh, they sung that one song with the really nice like acoustic shit at the start. And I'm like, yeah, it's good. But like, personally, like, I think it's a good song, but it's not a favorite of mine for sure. Like,
it's one that I come back to, but it's one that I really like. When I come back to it, I come back to one of the live videos of them playing it with.
Yeah, it's better live. I feel like it's a very good live song for sure.
Yeah, and I liked that, you know, they did mini sets in between. Like, they did the main set, and then they had Johnny come out and they did Untitled and Times New Roman, and then they had Kurt come out and do Tree Village, and some shows they changed up the songs a little bit. Yeah. And then they did Lemon Meringue Tie, I think they switched out.
Lemon Meringue Tie. That's such a good song.
That's a song. That is a song to talk about.
Oh, man.
I feel like we've been spending a lot of time talking about Dance Gavin Dance, but is there any other bands that you can think of that you want to discuss about?
Okay, so I can tell you what I've been listening to recently. That I guess could be a topic. So a band called Sixth, which is Sixth, which are like an avant-garde kind of, God, how can you explain them? Prog metal. Okay. To an extent. The lyrics and the vocal style is very strange, very nonsensical. Okay. It almost sounds like he's telling a story about the stupidest shit. But Sixth have been around since like early 2000s, and they're bringing out a new album this year, and they haven't done one for ages. Okay. I think since 2006. A little backstory: the guitarist of Sixth is the guy that produced all of Shikari's albums from Common Dreads upward.
Oh, okay.
So they've got their production sound and everything sounds almost Shikari like, but doesn't sound like Shikari. Like it's like it. You can kind of. It's very hard to explain, but they're not everyone's.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
though.
they're not everyone's type of band. They're very. I mean, check them out. Their older stuff is very hard to get into. I can guarantee you'll probably be like, what the fuck is this?
Well, but listen, if there's anything that I've learned is that a first listen isn't always going to hit me on a band. So if I got something I can, give it a little time, I'll probably do it. And I assume they're probably on Apple Music, so it'd be pretty easy for me to
absolutely. They're not for everyone. I will agree. It's just something that I feel like this is the probably heaviest and stuff I've listened to for a while. I've been actually kind of delving a little more into the old, so the new Gorillaz music, Aphex Twin. I've been listening to a lot of Aphex Twin, and he's just basically just electronica and ambient stuff.
Yeah.
But besides that, At the Drive-In's new album. I've been listening to it a lot of At the Drive-In. Yeah. I don't know if you know what that is or who
I know who At the Drive-In is. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're good. All the stuff is a lot better, but I thought I'd pick up their new album because it's I'm gonna say maybe 17 years since their last release. So
yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a very long time. So, them and Baby Metal, because it's Baby Metal. That's kind of like
fucking Baby Metal. Like they came to like New York, and my buddy Piotr was like, "You should come to New York and see Baby Metal with us." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll drive all the way to go see Baby Metal when they might come to Toronto anyways."
I love them.
I think
they're
he's
great.
more so one.
I think it's the coolest.
It's really cool. It's like they're mixing
the coolest concept. Yeah,
it's J-pop. Like
with
clean,
every type of metal that you can possibly imagine. Yeah, it's like, awesome.
it's really cool, and I love that they did. As much as the Fine Brothers are surrounded by controversy, the like Baby Metal reacts video they did, that's fucking awesome.
Oh really?
So maybe I'll just talk about what I've been listening. Speaking of ambient stuff, like you mentioned before, I've been listening to a lot of Sky Harbor.
Sky Harbor. Oh God, why do I know that name?
They're a band from India originally, an ambient metal band, and they have they're now an international band because their vocalist is from Ohio.
Okay.
They have a song. They have this album. The song I can think of is called Evolution. But if you get a chance, watch the music video for it. It's like it's an experience.
Okay.
The album's called Guiding Lights that I've been listening to, but they also have another album before that, which is what got me into them. But Guiding Lights is kind of like their really, really good album. Like if you get a chance to watch the music video for Evolution, it kind of goes over like it's the spacey thing talking about like childbirth and stuff like that, but it's like it's an experience, like for sure.
I'll give it a listen.
I've also been re-listening to older stuff because the end of 2016 seemed to be the year of reviving old dead bands because Under Oath came back and Hope's Fall are back.
Yeah. Under Oath, Hope's Fall. I remember you said that they've been like gone for quite some time.
Dude, when I got into them was a year after they broke up.
Oh God, when was that? I was just like,
that was like a while ago. And what happened is Trustkill killed them. Their record label killed them.
Oh, really?
They came back in 2012 to do a couple anniversary shows.
Yeah.
But in 2016, a lot of the people from the last album and one of the other albums, like the last album they did before they broke up was Magnetic North, and it actually released after they had already broken up.
Okay.
But a lot of the people from that album announced that they're working on new stuff for 2017. They're on a new record company. In 2016, they actually re-released their previous albums on vinyl, and I missed the boat on that because I wanted them on vinyl.
Oh God.
But they've got new stuff coming out in 2017, and I can't freaking wait. And I know we're already like a quarter into 2017, so I know it's going to be still a bit of a wait. But I can't wait because Hope's Fall is one of those bands, like they're my second favorite band of all time, I believe, if I had to rank them, because I got into them. When I got into them, like I got into them through their more popular stuff like Satellite Years, and then the album that everybody's not really sure about, A-Types, is actually one of my favorite metal albums of all time. And I think that was one of the things that killed them, because a lot of people didn't like A-Types, but I absolutely love it. I think it's a very like emotionally strong album. And it's got a lot of good like guitar parts and stuff like that. And then Magnetic North is like a good mix of both of them. So I don't know what they're gonna come up with. Like it's interesting.
Yeah,
to see
like
what's gonna happen.
I mean, with shit, I just lost my shoe again. What the hell's going on?
Quit losing your shoe, man.
I keep my shoe keeps falling off of the top of this box that I have them sitting on. Anyway, enough about that. I've only listened to 3 of their songs, and they're all from different albums. So I guess I can kind of understand like the shift in focus of what they're doing.
Yeah, they're also on Apple Music if you want to like just listen to an album for an experience.
I think I might have to, because like you have told me many times that they're really good, but the ones that I only picked up on were, I think the only songs I have are God, hold on, I can check them. I've got it here.
The Bending is like they're sorry you're not a winner for them.
The Bending, I have the Bending, I have the End of an Era, and I have Icarus. They're the only songs I have.
End of an Era is a really good song. You've got mostly Satellite Years stuff. I would maybe check that album out first then. Okay. If you're gonna check them out. A-Types, Icarus is from A-Types. A-Types is a little harder to get into. They kind of abandon a lot of the like screamo and harder hitting stuff from the previous album. So it is like, if you're used, it might be hard to get into it. But like Magnetic North, the last album they released, is like a good mix of the two.
Okay.
So it's even good. Like one of my favorite songs right now, one that my band's thinking of covering, is Swamp Kittens. Because it's just got like a really good like thing. Because Hopesfall is the band that of the sound that I'd like my band to be. Like the whole ambient, like emotional metal thing.
Yeah, like they kind of. Oh god, they're like melodic almost, weren't they? Like a little bit of melody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And until Gavin Dance came around, Under Oath was my favorite band of all time.
Yeah.
And the fact that they got back together and I finally got to see them live was something that was really great. The only complaint I had is their set was too short. I think compared to Bring Me the Horizon set, which was like an hour and a half, and Under Oath only got a half hour, which I thought was kind of lame. But I understand why, because when Under Oath was big, Bring Me the Horizon was not that big. And now it's kind of swapped because they were out of the game for a few years.
Yeah.
And now they're
Bring
huge.
Me the Horizon are like the new Linkin Park.
Yeah, but I mean,
I hate to say it, because like Linkin Park, like, God bless their souls, but their music's so fucking shit right now. God, I cannot listen to any Linkin Park.
But the thing is,
old stuff, yes. New stuff, no.
The thing is, I didn't at first like the new Bring Me the Horizon stuff, but my brother's that's what got him into them.
Yeah.
So, and I've kind of gotten into it because he's been playing it on vinyl. I'm like, you know what? This is actually pretty good. It's not as heavy as Suicide Season, but I'm like, you know what? Suicide Season is something of its time.
Because I remember, it's a solid album, but it's
But if they tried to do another Suicide Season now, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, no. It was metalcore. It was when it was a big time kind of thing. Having metalcore, like going through metal. How do I explain it? Going through high school, metalcore was a big thing for me and a lot of other teens and shit, and they were all kind of growing up with that music.
Yeah.
So like the emo scene phase, all that kind of shit. But I will be the one to say, and it's a very what's the word? It's a very unpopular opinion, but I believe Sempiternal's their best album. I fucking love that album to bits.
That is a great album, and when we went to go see them live, they had like a big rear projection thing going on.
Yeah, and
my brother had never heard Shadow Moses.
Yeah.
So when they played that, he really got into that. He's like, I want to listen to this album. Like when we get home,
dude,
I want to listen to it. And I'm like, I've got it on Apple Music, so we played it on the ride home. And he's like, this shit is hype. And I'm like, it's
the bridged gap between their This Is a Hell, Believe Me, I've Seen It album and what they are doing now. It's kind of like they've got that very genty metalcore thing going, but it's still got that really rock kind of vibe as well, what they're doing now, which is really, it's really cool. I think Sempiternal is their most solid album. It's like the best produced besides their newest, and like it's just, it hits hard and then it hits very Soft.
I also remember like on the car ride home. Oh no, wait, it wouldn't. I couldn't get it on Apple Music for some reason. That album was having trouble too. So what I did is I was like, I gave my brother my phone. I'm like, here's the music video for Shadow Moses, and of course he was like, he had a little bit of the,
Yeah.
And
he was like, is this what the video's doing, or is it me?
I'm like, what? I'm like, he's like, what is happening? I'm like, oh, they're using a 3D camera and they're like changing cameras each second. Each second. He's like, what? Yeah. He's like, that's fucking trippy. Like,
yeah.
He's also had a bit to drink that night too.
Oh so yeah, it mixes very well.
But
dude. When I first saw it, I was like, what? Yeah, no, it's really simple but cool.
That's another music video for anybody listening. That's an experience. You gotta. I mean, maybe you don't even have to have had a few beers or to appreciate it. But I mean, like it probably
makes you feel like you've had a few drinks. I can tell you that
it does. Like
it makes you feel like you have gotten quite a little tipsy.
Yeah. It's quite a video.
It is.
But the only other thing I've been listening to as well on top of those is Deftones because.
Oh fuck! Don't get me started on Deftones.
It's been a long time since I listened to Deftones, and two, because a member of my band wants to. One of the songs he suggested covering was "Knife Party," and I realized I've never listened to "Knife Party," even though it's on White Pony, the album that I know the most about Deftones. And then I'm like, okay, this is the song we're covering. Because at first I wanted to do "Change," and I'm like. I'm like, it's kind of slow, and we already have enough slow songs. And then I'm like, I heard Knife Party, and I'm like, okay, we're doing this one. So
Knife Party is so good.
Mm-hmm. And then I went back and I not downloaded, but on Apple Music went and got their older albums, and I've just been listening to their older stuff, and then the stuff afterwards, after White Pony. I'm still gonna say White Pony is probably my favorite, but
White Pony is their magnum opus. It's like their main kind of. The album that everyone's like, oh, White Pony. Like, I picked up White Pony about, I think it was 2 years ago, because I was like, well, this is their most solid album, so I want to have a physical copy of that. Yeah. And then I ended up getting it,
Around the Fur is actually really good, too. Like, it's...
Oh, dude, Around the Fur is awesome. But it's funny, because my favorite song of theirs that they've made is on their self-titled, which is the one after White Pony. And it's probably one of their most... like critical songs. A lot of people don't like it because the way he screams in it is very weird.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the song Hexagram?
Yes, I have heard that song.
Yes. It's very brutal on the ears. Very, very brutal on the ears. But I absolutely love that song so much. That and God, what's the other one? Diamond Eyes. I really love Diamond Eyes.
Diamond Eyes is also a good one, yeah.
Very, very good song. It's got that really kind of slow blend of very heavy guitar and that really nice kind of rocky alternative shit going on as well.
Exactly, yeah. And I would agree with that. And just one other thing on the side. I don't really listen to Radiohead, but the one album of theirs I listen to is In Rainbows. I got into it because they offered it for free back in the day.
Really?
So I downloaded it. Really? I'm gonna find out what this whole Radiohead thing's about. And I mean, my favorite song by Radiohead is Weird Fishes, which is kind of an odd one to choose compared to all their other hits and stuff.
I've actually never heard that song. I might have to listen to it.
How I got into it is they did a live recording of the entire In Rainbows album, and that was the first song in the thing. And I'm like, oh man, this is so good. Like I was like really into it, and then, ever since then, Weird Fishes has been my favorite song by them. But that's just another thing I've been listening to because I wanted to see if my band could do like a metal cover of that song somehow.
Of Weird, what was it called? Weird Fishes.
Weird Fishes. It's Weird Fishes / Arpeggi, but I just call it Weird Fishes because that's basically the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, funnily you say Radiohead because they're basically another band that I got into the exact same time as Deftones. Like it was just I don't know, it was like a couple thing where I was like, oh, I like listening to Radiohead and Deftones, like at the same kind of time almost. Yeah, I'll listen to Radiohead, then Deftones, Radiohead, Deftones.
I think I got into Deftones and back when White Pony came out. I'm trying to remember what year that was. That was a while ago.
2000, I believe.
Yeah, it was. I was in elementary school or 7th or 8th grade. So what people would normally call middle school, but here in Canada, elementary school goes up to 8th grade sometimes. So, and a friend of mine is just like, I'm really into this album, and he lent it to me, and that's how I got into Deftones. And that was way back. I was like 12, 13, and that was kind of like the perfect time to get into them, I think, because that was when I was shifting from the more to more metal stuff, and that was kind of like one of the ones that helped me kind of shift over to that, because before that time it was all it was like all pop punk stuff, and I still like Blink and Sum 41 and all those bands, but like I wanted something a little more heavier, because you're in that when you're 12, 13, you're basically in that preteen era and before you become a teenager, and that's like an important part of growing up, because you're becoming less of a kid at that point, and you're becoming more of getting close to what someone would consider an adult. You're not an adult yet, but you're getting there, and that's basically when you're done high school. That's when you have to take on the whole adult thing. But that's like a weird era of when you're younger. Like it's you got to figure a lot of stuff out, and there's new experiences and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that kind of like helped me through a lot of the really negative times. Like,
dude, music helps me through almost every awful thing that's happened in my life. Good things that's happened in my life as well. Like I always like to have music accompanying me a lot. Whether it be on the drive to work, at work, because I bring my speaker with me and I can still play some music there, or at home editing, or with friends. I always have to have some type of music in the background. And
while recently my current editing noise has been podcasts, music is definitely one of the things. But with that being said, is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of music, or have we pretty much talked about everything we can think of right now?
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess we could. We kind of drifted into the whole why it's important kind of thing, but like,
I guess one thing I'd like to discuss is it sometimes is a hard sell to get people to listen to some of the music I like, especially if it has screaming vocals in it, because people refer to that as just screaming music. Like people who don't listen to those.
Screamo, and if anyone says it's fucking screamo one more time,
well,
it's just. Yeah, it's a genre. It's absolutely 100% a genre, but it's not like people when they refer to System of a Down as screamo. I just want to yell.
And it's like, and people ask me like, why do you like that? Isn't it just all screaming? And I'm just like, well, the thing is like, and I want to make a video about this at some point, where a video that's probably not going to go on YouTube because they'll copyright claim it, but a video where I take pieces of my favorite songs, put them together, and like out of context, if you don't know what the bands are, you won't realize that they're like hardcore metal bands. Like my favorite parts of the reason I like Hostfall so much is they have like their medleys are like so good. Like they have a guitar, so they're gonna use it, is basically what the thought is. Like sure, they've got those breakdowny parts and stuff too. You have to have that with metal, but I think my favorite part of most songs is when they go into something like that's more melodic. And even one of the songs that my band is working on, my favorite part is a part where I slow it down on guitar and just do something a little more like emotionally sounded. And I think that's why I like this kind of metal music genres. I think it's unfair to just dismiss it as all screaming music, when sometimes that's the point of it, to get, because you can't get some emotions across with regular singing. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So.
A good example of that is Deftones, because the singer, God, what's his goddamn name? Why can't I think of it?
I know. I'm trying to think of it right now, too.
Why can't I think of it?
I've been researching them all week, so I should know his name.
It's right there. I know it. Hold on. Chino. Is it Chino?
Jackal. Is it Jackal?
Chino, it is. It's Chino. It's actually Chino.
Yeah.
Chino is fucking amazing. I actually I see this a lot on random posts and anything, and they say I don't like having to talk about shit like this on the show on a podcast, but like, Chino's voice goes very well with sex. Like, he has that very, very, really slow, kind of raspy voice that apparently if you were to have sex with that...
I was just going to say, have you had sex with somebody while listening to Deftones?
Maybe.
I mean,
I've had sex with. I was gonna say I've had sex with Enter Shikari. No, I haven't, but I've had sex with them playing in the background.
Whoa, bro!
I don't want
to.
to. We should probably not talk about this on here, but it's here. It's no, dude, it's good. It's good music. You play it. You can play it. Deftones is the best music to play while doing that kind of stuff. Performing the activity. I don't want to bring it up on something like this, but it's true. I think it's great. It's good to listen to without having that stuff going on. But like, dude, they're a great band. Deftones definitely have that very sexy sound as well.
So, and I've mentioned this on like a Let's Play part or something once before. But I should say anybody listen to this who's not into these metal genres, give something a chance. Let's say you're not into the more rough. Let's try try Gavin Dance's newest album. It's probably the easiest one to get into of all their music, and give that a listen. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Cool. Or is there anything else you could think of for first time metal listeners that might be good?
Okay, let me
Enter
think.
Shikari actually is pretty good. Their new album.
I was gonna say Shikari's new album. There's like maybe 3 songs that are very heavy. In comparison to the rest of the album, but like, Common
Last
Dreads
Garrison
is least...
was like a great single for it.
Last Garrison is a solid single, and Destabilize, it's a standalone song.
Yeah,
Destabilize is a fantastic song for those who want to listen to the band and what they're good for doing. They go through almost all their genres in one song. They do that with a lot of songs, but that one primarily. Another one isn't actually. I don't think it has a film clip, but Myopia is another song from the Minesweep that kind of goes from one thing to another.
There was a single from the Minesweep you sent me, and I wasn't into it.
Yeah.
No, not the Minesweep. Sorry. What was their previous album before that?
Flashlight of Color.
Flashlight of Color. There was like a single from that I wasn't into, but I feel like people who aren't into metal might be able to get into it. But also like Flashlight of Color is like the least, I would say, of all the albums, in just my opinion, is the least heaviest, I guess you could say. But that's kind of not true because there's tracks on there that are heavy. So
Common Dreads is probably their most electronica dubstep kind of based album. It's got a lot of very strange heavy songs. Zonked is definitely one of their best songs they've ever written.
That's how I got into them, by the way, because you did that one thing at the end of one of my videos from Hectic, and I was like, what is that from? And you're like, oh, it's from an Enter Shikari song. I'm like, oh, I'm not surprised. Let me listen to this song now because it was you.
Hectic's great. I love the fucking lyrics in that song. It is so good.
If I ever sing that live, though, it's going to be hard for me to say Sega Mega Drive because I'm probably just going to say Sega Genesis instead.
Because it's the Mega Drive here as well in Australia. So, what was it? I was saying about Myopia. Their song Myopia is it goes from basically like Radiohead, very soft, to immediately into like very, very heavy, fast pace, hardcore music. Like it's just almost like an instantaneous thing that happens like that, and that's probably what their song that kind of you can hear the difference like completely as it kind of happens. That and Snake Pit does the same thing as well. Snake Pit does the same thing. It's like very dubby rap, woo, and then it just breaks open this big fucking pit, and then all the snakes.
I always have to double take their songs because they sometimes start up songs weird and then they get heavy, and I'm just like, I was not expecting that.
Myopia seems like it's just going to be a ballad, and then it just fucking explodes, and you're like, okay, I dig this.
I love it when bands do that. Like, was it Between the Buried and Me has a song called Ants of the Sky that's 14 minutes, but in the middle of the song they have a hoedown.
14 minutes.
They have a hoedown. Like it goes, like they get it at the band, it goes like.
So they do an I Wrestled a Bear once, and they just basically change the fucking song completely, and then for like 2 seconds.
That's another band I've been addicted to lately. I Wrestled a Bear once.
I love them. I can't get enough of their stupid fucking humor in their songs. It's great.
Fucking tastes like Kevin Bacon. Like the song starts off really heavy and then
That
it goes
is-
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And a lot of people make fun of me for liking that band because they're like, "Oh man, they're so stupid." But I'm like, no, they're actually really cool. I dig them a lot. New album. Don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a bit too deathcore for me, and I kind of just
That
faded
also
away with
reminds
that.
me, the
But yeah.
original vocalist of I Wrestle a Bear Once, she's working on a project with her husband that's really, really good. I if I can,
Really?
I'll find the SoundCloud again and send it to you. But it's
Okay,
it's really good.
I had no idea that she was still doing music. Okay.
Yeah, well, when
I really
she,
like Krista. I really like Krista's voice. It's very like Bjork-esque.
yeah, and I
But,
mean,
like,
she
not-
only left the band because she got pregnant, and then she didn't have any
Pregnant, yeah.
chance. Like, she's like, I'm gonna focus on my family, so she didn't really
Yeah.
get back to it. But her husband's a musician as well, so
Okay. That's cool.
the two of them have just worked on some stuff. They haven't made a ton of music because obviously life always comes first. But like,
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's why I don't make many videos anymore because life comes first.
exactly. But the demos they've released
Yeah.
have been really, really solid. And I'm like, if someone offers them a record deal or something, even if they like even if they can't tour because of the family, even if they just release stuff online digitally, I'd be okay with that.
That'd be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Send the link away, man. I'm interested in that. I love.
I will as soon
her
as I
voice.
find it. But,
Yeah. That's cool, man.
But yeah, so I think that's going to do it for our music discussion. I don't think there's anything else we really need to super discuss. I think we went over most of the stuff we wanted to.
We've covered a lot of kind of bases, I guess. We've covered things from
we nerded out about our
band.
favorite bands and
favorite bands that we've been recently somewhat listening to, and genres and stuff.
yeah. So I asked people for questions because we're in the question and answer portion now.
Yeah.
I sent out the question and answer super late because just so everybody knows, like we were planning to do this podcast for weeks, but our schedules weren't matching up. And then last night at work, one of my things that I had to do was canceled. So I'm like, hey, Jordan, my Saturday suddenly freed up. What's up? And so we just kind of
what is up, dude?
So I didn't give people a lot of time to answer the question for this one. So instead of taking a question that we don't have, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in the next little bit with what you do online and what you do personally?
Where do I see myself? Okay, so online, like videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to branch more into like the Let's Play thing with Josh, but I don't want it to take too much time out of my hands on video editing. But I can guarantee you that The Prince and the Pussy, episode 6, or whatever fuck the episode number is coming out. A lot of people want to know that. It's coming out. I'm editing it. I'm just waiting on one person at the moment. It used to be 3, and now it's just 1. So that'll come out within the next month.
Oh, that's exciting.
But I kind of see myself getting that done, and maybe working on 2 more things, and then I'm actually going to take a break. I'm actually going to go on hiatus because I need to focus on work and earning and saving money. I will probably stop my Patreon for a few months, so no one's paying me for doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like or donating, I should say, or whatever it is. And I mean, I haven't had a break since I think 2013. So, like, I've just been kind of slowly pushing videos out, but like, I might actually just take a 3 or 4 month break and just not make anything besides the Let's Play stuff, because I need it, man. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm sitting at home going, God, there's a lot of people that are depending on me and on these videos, and I need to make them happy. So sometimes I sit down and go, God, what can I do? What can I do? I don't have lines for The Prince and the Pussy. I don't have lines for ReZero. What do I do? And then I just go Tunebio, and then I do it, and then I'm done. I'm like, oh God, that's not enough. I got to do something else. And then, it actually gets a little bit stressful, and I adore doing it. It's a hobby. It's not a job, and I like making people happy. But sometimes I do need to go. Okay, cool, time for a break.
Yeah,
and,
we all need breaks like that. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, my goal right now is to try to get one fully edited review-ish type video done a month. And I've actually kind of hit a snag, and the reason I'm doing that is because I considered Patreon, but I don't want to do it if I can't maintain a schedule. Is basically what my thought is. Right now
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult because with working full time and, I have Let's Play videos and then on top of that review videos, it's just like, sometimes it's hard to balance it all, but I'm trying.
Oh yeah,
But,
100%. Oh, dude, it's you like. I think the thing that really, and I hate saying it because it's the most important part, almost most important part of my life. It's the job, because I've got a job that I have to go to every day. That cuts a lot of time out of my day on editing, and when I do have free days, I like to spend them on seeing family, friends, and having a good time.
Exactly.
And I don't want to spend the weekends that I have just on editing. I would love to, but I'd probably die.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
my sanity would just go.
I have to plan my days. Like, for example, since now I'm
Yeah.
not hanging out with my buddy Jeff, I'm going to be spending today working on one of the videos that I want to get done.
Yeah.
Because I have some free time, and then tonight I'm going to jam with my band, and
Yeah.
Because I'm probably going to get the whole situation with our covers figured out, because we've got 3 or 4 tracks ready, but we want to have some covers so we can start playing shows. So
yeah, that and you need that. Sometimes you do need that, and you need that time to go ahead and jam. You need some time to work. You need some time to spend time with family, friends, and I don't want to say like a majority of people online don't understand that, because that's not true. But a few people don't, and they feel like their word is a lot more important than let's say mine or yours, kind of thing. Like, oh, you should be making this. I'm subscribed to you. Yeah. No, I should be doing this because I feel like I want to make you guys happy, but I can't make every one of you happy. So,
our obligations to YouTube aren't as much, because this YouTube is just a hobby for us. But like,
100%.
We're not like,
it's not my job.
We're not like people out there who like they quit their daytime job because they're making enough money off of it, and that's what they're doing as their job. I wish I could do that, because like if I could put all my energy into YouTube, like, and make it my career, then I would. I would do that instantly over what I'm doing.
I would if I was guaranteed the same amount of money that I earn from my full-time job. I would do, and that's for making videos and parodies and Let's Plays and stuff and whatever. I would in a heartbeat do that, because I'm a lot more comfortable than doing that. But the way YouTube's going, that ain't gonna happen. So
the other thing to realize too is that with somebody who has the subscriber count that you had, if you weren't making parodies, which you can't monetize, if you were doing anything else that you could, you might make enough to not have a full-time job. But the problem with that is you can't just shift that on your channel, because everybody's come here for that. And it's too late for you to make that decision. And sure, you have Sticks and Stones as your like gaming channel, which the people who are really hardcore fans of your will go to, but like you can't just switch your entire channel to a gaming channel, because
that is so true. That is so true.
People will be like, "Where's the abridged stuff?" You know what I mean?
And another thing to note is that YouTube is fucking stupid, because they decide to make it so my videos don't show up on people's subscription boxes, and they also make it so that I'm 100% irrelevant most of the time now.
It's funny, and there's top tier like million subscribed YouTubers who have the exact same problem. Like Make Me Bad 35. Is a guy that I've been watching since YouTube started, and he's got over 1 million subscribers. His videos get 9,000 views. Somebody who has 1 million subscribers shouldn't be getting 9,000 views.
Nope, they should not.
I'd be happy with 9,000 views, but like I don't have 1 million subscribers. So.
Yeah, that's where where I'm a bit scared to take this hiatus, because if I take a break, that means no one's gonna watch my shit in that time. Meaning, then YouTube's gonna think I'm less irrelevant, and I'm more irrelevant, sorry. And then they're going to make it so when I upload something, no one's going to fucking watch it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I used to, in my quote-unquote heyday around 2013, 2014, 2012, I was racking in a lot more viewers and a lot more subscribers because YouTube weren't stupid. They were actually doing pretty damn okay. And I guess I have to hand it to the people that liked my videos and shared my videos, because there was a few people that were just really big, like LK and One Kids, that just pushed like 2 or 3 of my videos and said, these are great, people should watch them. But it wasn't just that. A lot of people just found my things and started subscribing and liking it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that doesn't happen.
Mhm.
So I'm stuck at maybe 10,000 max after 3 months. That's my views on my videos. 10,000 max on my and then I've got my big videos like Prince of the Pussy episode 1 that has like 420 blaze it, 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 views. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, the YouTube silly.
We basically like social media is basically our only option now to push stuff out.
And I've been doing everything in my power to be a bit more active on Twitter, Facebook, and God save me, Tumblr. But like, it's because Tumblr actually has a lot of viewers that came from Tumblr to YouTube. One of my free videos got so much attention from Tumblr, so that's why I don't neglect it. Because that place actually gave me a little bit of recognition, and I mean, 400% of the people on that website are weird and ugh. But hey,
Tumblr is where people go for weird stuff.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Like it's either GIFs, social justice, or porn,
or for a furry porn. Yeah,
yeah. Basically, that's what I see Tumblr. But hey, people wave that freak flag. Tumblr's a great place,
dude. Yeah. Honestly, Tumblr is great to an extent. But like honestly, every website has their faults. YouTube has more faults than any of them, to be honest.
And Google has really not done much to help the platform. They say they're doing things, but they're saying they're not showing. So I mean, I'd like to rant about YouTube for a lot longer, but I think I mean, we've said what we've had to say.
Yeah,
we've said what we've had to say. So with that being said, good segue. Yes. Do you have anything you'd like to promote?
Sticks and Stones, my Let's Play channel with my dear friend Josh. If you'd like to check that out, we're uploading a little more frequently. We did have a dead patch for a while because we didn't have much content. But we're working out the kinks. There are still a few episodes with very weird recording problems.
Yeah.
But we've worked the kinks out. I'm sitting down and editing them a little more now, so it's not just a bland kind of little Let's Play. We've got little edits and stuff.
If I come to Australia, we're gonna have to do a Power Play / Sticks and Stones crossover.
Oh fuck, that would be so cool. That would be actually really cool. And Josh would be 100% okay with that. He's really easy to talk to as well. So like we get along very well, I'd say.
I'm gonna save every penny I got so I can fly out and come visit you for just like a week or something like that.
I would go woohoo, but my voice is fucked. So I was like,
mine too, because I'm just getting my voice back now because I'm awake. I had my tea, but like I've been talking now. I don't normally talk this much between when I wake up and the hour and a half we've been talking. So
I rarely talk.
My voice is probably shot for the night until I go to do vocals tonight for the band. So I'm just gonna chill out and work on stuff for here. So Sticks and Stones. Is there anything else you want to promote, or Sticks and Stones is basically the main thing?
And Excalibur, my main channel. I guess like that's kind of like the main kind of thing.
So your main channel is Enter Excalibur.
Absolutely, yep.
Which is a not so subtle reference to a band
Shikari
that we were talking about. And then Sticks and Stones, is it one of those new YouTubes that has the weird like URL thing? Doesn't have like a name, or is it called?
Okay, so the way you'd have to look it up, I guess, is if you type in. Oh God! If you type in Sticks and Stones Excalibur, it'll definitely come up. Yeah. I'm 100% sure it will come up.
Yeah, like I tried searching Power Plays and you get nothing but hockey stuff, but I mean it's a hockey reference. So
I mean hockey.
So I just put Power Plays Zeromaster and then stuff will come up for my stuff.
Or Sticks and Stones Josh GB, because that's just what he goes on goes by online. So it should come up, or any of our Let's Plays, so like Sticks and Stones Toy Story 2, it'll come up with it. It will. Apparently the best one that we've done is the first one that we did. Like that is the best show we've got on, is the Toy Story 2 one. So that's I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, what can I say?
Right. Well, I want to thank you for coming out, Jordan, to my podcast. This is the third episode of my podcast, so you should feel pretty big man on campusy right now,
dude. I'm big man on the campus.
So, Jordan, thanks for coming on the podcast with me, and I'm sure we're going to have you again because we have many other topics you and I could discuss.
Oh, dude, I'm more than happy to come on again. You know that.
All right, and thanks again for listening, guys, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for having me. Ciao. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get these dogs to, like, possibly shut up.
Sure.
1 sec. All right, won't be a second. What the fuck, dude? George. Stop. Why are you complaining?
Stop. I should check these questions, though.
Silly dog. Sorry, I'm back, and oh, that's probably just like ruined the authenticity of that. All right, well, I'm here now.
I don't think you ruined anything. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna have to go get groceries in the middle of this and cut stuff out, so don't worry about it.
You're right, yeah.